Yo, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy Rush in the building, holding it down, promoting my side hustle, Rush Enterprise. If you're in the state of New Jersey, you need armed guards or unarmed guards, just call up my business line and I'll get right back to you. My voicemail is kind of full right now, so if y'all can't leave me a voicemail, yo, just hit me up on the grams and shoot me a DM. The bigger the contract, the more money we make together, you heard? Today I got a few special guests today. We're gonna expound on a few topics. You know what I mean? And we're gonna get it popping. Yo, salute. What up, y'all?
What's going on, Russ?
Man.
Salute.
Good evening, everybody.
Word. What up, y'all? We're gonna expound on this subject matter called step studs. Know what I mean? I'm gonna pull up video clip, and then after we watch the video clip of this joint, we're gonna expound on the video clip. You heard? Give me like 2 seconds, man. Hold on. I gotta pull this joint out. Hold on. All right, bet.
Whose TV is that?
It's my boy spot. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see. All right, bet. Hold on.
Where the hell that music came from? I couldn't lie.
My bad, y'all. Hold up. I'm trying to pull up this clip. Let me see.
Shout out to y'all listening to pop music though, man. Yeah.
My bad, y'all. I mean, usually we have somebody do this for us, but I'm trying to, figure out how to do this. Hold up, I'm about to pull it up now.
You got it. Take your time.
I'm about to play the clip now. After we watch this clip, we're gonna expound on this.
My studs, we are not step studs. We are not step studs. We are human beings, yo. These females don't understand.
The Toys R Us studs is
take
crazy.
Advantage of me, and you got a man that don't even want to take care of their kids, but you trying to take advantage of me when I'm free help. You don't take advantage of something that wants to help. You fucking dumb.
I advise all studs. If the bitch got a kid, leave that bitch where she at. All she good for is to fuck on. Don't build no home with her. Don't treat her like these niggas gonna treat her. Been there, done that, experienced it. Waste of time. Don't do it.
Yeah, why do y'all keep trying to talk to me when you know you got kids? Baby, I'm 23. What the fuck I'm gonna do for you and your kids?
I've been in that situation with a woman. I was in a relationship for 2 years and shit wasn't working because she couldn't hold a job. I was paying all the bills. On top of that, taking care of her child. Shit, she had a good ass baby daddy out of me. Basically, I was a stud baby daddy. I'm so ashamed. But hey, it is what it is. I decided to end the relationship and I said, F them kids. I sure did.
I mean, I love kids. I love kids with everything in me. I'm just not trying to.
Wait, the video's playing?
I'm not trying to go out and goddamn buy all these goddamn Jordans and Air Max and
I can't hear it.
I can see
and
it.
shit for the holidays.
I can see it.
I'm not trying to be at the basketball game. I'm not trying to be at the.
I can't hear nothing.
Oh, I can't hear it. No, I can't hear it.
they're not my children.
My studs. We are not step studs. We are not step.
I see it moving, but I don't. It's like the volume's not on.
She going off. They are not stepsons.
Y'all heard it?
Hold on.
Yeah, I was able. I could hear it.
I was
Y'all
able to
heard
hear
it?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't hear it.
Oh, hold on. Let me bring back BB. Yeah. Well, Fame, since hold up. Yo, let me see. Let me play it again. Hold on.
All I hear is music playing.
All right, hold on. Yo, hold up. Yo, Fame's funny. Hold up.
That's all I hear for real. Like I don't hear nothing but music playing.
Let me see. I'm about to pull it up now. Hold up.
You got me in a different realm or something.
I don't know. I can hear everybody.
Yo, you hear it now, Fame?
I can hear everybody.
Nah.
Yeah.
We can't even see the video this time.
Yeah, I can't.
We do hear your loud ass R&B though.
Yeah, that's all I hear is the music.
Yo, that's crazy. Well, okay. Well, since I can't play the clip,
Just tell me if everybody heard it. Just tell me what it said. Like, I want you to do all that work and go back and do it over again.
Okay, so basically,
no, I'm about to let you know what it says. Well, pretty much.
The video, she was screaming, we're not step studs. If we step up and we do everything, then we the parent. And then the other one said that I'm around when I'm around, but then when I'm not around no more, fuck them kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was about 4 or 5 studs with fades and low top cuts, and they was pretty much complaining about women like
there's a lot of that going on. It's like a trend now.
They're good baby daddies.
You still looking for the video, Rush?
Nah, my internet bugging right now, yo. Damn, yo, hold on. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. You just gotta. I think there's a delay coming from your end.
Yeah, it's like a little delay. It's lagging a little bit.
Now you're on the big screen.
Where the disco coming from?
All right. Yo, we good now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we straight now.
Okay, so all right. Pretty much the female stud, she was pretty upset of playing the role of the cleanup guy, and she's like very upset about that. And I want to get y'all opinion, like why do you guys think like step studs are fed up playing the cleanup role now?
Because let me go. Because they realize the man's role and they don't like it. They see what we got to go through now, and they realize that we's right all along with what we talk about dealing with females.
Yeah, I agree with Famous. I don't even think that was a clip, man. I think that was a PSA announcement.
Me too.
What was that?
No. I said I agree with you, man. Keep cooking.
Yeah, I think that was a PSA announcement, man. Because I think the studs, man, that was the last hope for like baby mothers. And so like guys done checked out of that. You know, we out here, we're having these conversations now. You know, a lot of people are sharing their experience. They're like, stay away from that shit. I done got, you know, taken advantage of. I was in that role. So, you know, people are putting this information out. But I think the studs kind of was like, you know what, we'll step up in this position. We'll take this on. And they got a taste of that. They're like, oh, fuck this. Like, they like, we out. We might never start dating nudes.
And they thought it never would happen to them until they was in a situation.
Yeah, so they was like, they checked out. They turned to straight females. Then they was like, we want no parts of this.
Yeah, I see there's a lot of women coming out too, like lesbians and everything coming out and say they tired of women. They done with it.
Urban, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts on it is, to be honest, these studs, these lesbians, they thought that they could prove us wrong, right, with their pride and ego, but they found out that we was right all along, just like everybody else said. We was right all along. You don't need to deal with modern women with their children, period. Don't even try it. Don't do it unless you just want to be a simp. And yes, studs could be simps as well too, as they found out the hard way. Mm-hmm.
Studs are the biggest simps.
Damn.
Yep.
Famous, why you say that? Why you say they're the biggest simps?
They are, because they feel like they're the one that live in the Disney fairy tale the most, because they think that's how you get a woman. They don't know better.
Mm-hmm.
So they think they're simping, like they're doing everything for them and playing that role. That's what's going to make them happy, and they don't realize it. Then they fall victim, and then they get mad, like you've seen the video.
I think that's where it comes in, though. At the end of the day, they're females, and females, we are dreamy and emotional. So just because you change your clothes, it doesn't make a difference. You're still going to have, those type of feelings and stuff. And that's also why I believe that a lot of them are willing to step up and play that role, because, they are sympathetic in a way of, having like that, wanting to have that like motherly or fatherly role, whatever it is, like us as women, we're caretakers and stuff. A lot of us have. Now, it depends now if you're doing it more to prove a point to society, like I'm the man and I'm gonna take care of these kids and this and that, or if you actually are with the woman, you care about the woman, you see yourself in the future and you take on those kids as a responsibility because that's just the right thing to do.
And another thing, it's a huge conflict because they're also women, so their hormones don't change. So that's another problem when a woman get with women.
So like it all depends, a woman stepping up with another woman taking care of the kids, that's not the problem. I think the problem, what it comes down to in a lot of these situations, and I don't know what happened, but my sister was just on, and my sister is a lesbian who dresses like a male. However, my sister is very in touch that she is a woman. My sister doesn't even date women that have kids because she doesn't want the confusion. She doesn't want to play that role, understanding that she is a woman and, to each their own, but to some children, you know, it could still be very confusing and stuff. And a lot of these studs out here, they're not just women that are, you know, dressing like men and stuff. They're completely taking the role of the man, like as if like, I'm the father, you don't even have a baby dad, or you don't have a dad. Like that to me is more of like a mental issue. I'm sorry, because you know, stepping up and providing and taking care for a child is one thing, but I sitting here and now convincing the world that you're a father of this child and different things, that's a whole other different topic.
Yeah, it confuses the child, and I'm in that situation. My baby mom's is with a stud now, and I got 3 children with her.
So, you know, like I know certain studs that they're great. They're okay. They rather dress, you know, that they like to dress like a man and stuff, but they're very in touch that they are still a woman and they don't try to play the man role, even though they do dress that part, you know. But like I said, then there's a lot of others that are just like, I'm the man here. You don't need your baby dad. These are my kids, my family. And it's like when things don't work out like that, now you have these poor kids that, yeah, they were taken care of maybe financially or however, but it's like there's so much more emotional damage that's been done in the meantime. Whereas, you know, it's no different, just like in a, you know, in a straight relationship, you get with someone and, you know, I'm not with my kid's father. Now, if I go and get with the man and he decides to help me with my 4 kids, okay, great. If I get with the woman and she decides to help me, okay, great. Doesn't mean though that woman has to play my children's father's role. Those are 2 completely separate things that we're, you know, talking about. And whatever the woman is or the mother of those kids, that's a major thing on her, because I'm sorry, she's just as fucked up out here sitting here and allowing some of these women to play a role that, like I said, playing a role as like a, you know, a good figure in a child's life is one thing, but sitting here convincing a child of something else, that's just fucked up to me.
Can I ask a quick question real quick? So when a stud steps into that situation, is it almost like because I know the stud's kind of playing that role as the guy. So is it like the stud has to pay all the bills now too in that situation?
See, that's where the conflict comes, because I think go ahead.
Like my sister's household, my sister does play that role of my sister does play that, but then again, that is how we were brought up. So we grew up in a traditional house. My parents were married. My mom took care of the kids. My dad paid the bills. Me, even as a woman, even like whoever I'm with, you know, like we kind of have like that provider in us. And that my sister chooses to do that. So she does pay the bills in her relationship, but then again, she also chooses to date women that don't have that kid, so she does not take on that responsibility as well.
Yeah, I think when it's women, they get confused with the roles, with like which who's gonna pick up the bills and all of that. I think they get confused with the roles, because even you see them when they go out as friends and they got to pay the bills. It's like a conflict.
Yeah,
there'll be a little conflict. But 9 times out of 10, the butch / dominant chick within the relationship does play the masculine role and pay all the bills. And I want to ask y'all a question: do you think a lot of these women are taking advantage of these step studs, man?
No.
Yep.
I think so. They use them as a backup plan. That's the last resort.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so, man. Because if you think about it, man, there's still a female at the end of the day, like Crystal says. So it's like, man, now you're put in that position. You got to pay all the bills, but they probably want to be pampered a little bit also, you know, just being a female. So yeah, that would kind of suck. So I could, even in that video, you know, they were kind of talking about a lot of adult females being unappreciative, lacking the gratitude. So they sounded like the dude's complaints, really. That's what was the funny one.
So I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious with this. Now, back in the day, we as men, we learned how to become simps. All right. We learned it through, you know, through our fathers, our grandfather. Hell, we learned it through listening to, you know, different genres of music as well, too, right? So we eventually end up adapting this behavior to becoming not only simps, but also becoming step parents to, you know, these children that don't belong to us, right? So what I'm curious is this: where did these studs learn this behavior from? We learned the behaviors from our father. Where did they learn this behavior from? And if that is so, based on what Crystal was saying, right, at the end of the day, they still, or they still are women. So where did they, in other words, transition to becoming a woman to becoming a stud and being a simp and having these type of behaviors?
I think it's Disney programming, feminism. Because feminism teach simping. They love it. So I think that's where they learned it from.
But I do agree with the fairy tale stuff.
I
but also,
think they learned it
go ahead, Rush.
From the music too, because there was a lot of simp type music. There's a lot of simp type music from back in the day too. So they will probably learn that from the music. My bad for interjecting so abruptly.
No, you could.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man. Also, Crystal, I think you mentioned it earlier. They have that ego, man, because I think there's a lot of females that be in that gray area, and I think sometimes, man, they got to come in there with the ego to try to convince them to come over there. They got a queen maker the coochie. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think.
Yeah, like I said, every lesbian is different, growing up with my sister, when she was young, I mean, as far as I can remember back, my sister's been dressing like a tomboy, never been the type that wanted to wear dresses, skirts. I remember, like, literally my sister was like 9 years old because I'm about 6 years older than her, and telling my mom, I think Brit's gay, like literally telling her when we were kids. And it was just like, she was just kind of like different in how she acted. And she was always like that as she grew up. She never wore girl clothes or anything like that. And like I said, and we grew up with our parents. So a lot of I would say, learning how to provide and be almost like the man comes from our father, having a father around and learning a lot of that. Now, my sister was a beautiful woman. She used to date, she tried dating guys, but honestly, that was just never her thing. Like when she was like a teenager, she had like 1-2 boyfriends, and then that was just not her thing. And she literally just chose to take that role and that route and stuff. And like for her, my sister has no kids and stuff. She has like a very like bachelor type life that she has her girlfriend, she's happy and stuff, and that works for her. But like I said, she again is not out here trying to create a fake family with someone else who has these kids and it didn't work, and now we're gonna go play family and stuff like that. So it's different. But yeah, like, and also my sister, like I said, she is a provider in her relationship. She has a beautiful girlfriend, and her girlfriend doesn't have to work and stuff like that. But it's just like any situation, because there's, I'm sure, a lot of studs and stuff that are in these relationships, and on the flip side, the woman is actually the provider and going to work and doing stuff, and they're kind of like almost like mooching off of them, so it kind of can go both ways.
So Crystal, your sister don't be getting irritated with that, like paying all them bills and stuff?
100%. Like so many times she's like, I fucking chose the wrong life. Why when I could be getting my bills paid, am I out here? But like that's just what it is, and she's happy with who she is, and she knows who she is, and yeah, it sucks, but at the same time, it's all of us. Now me, I'm a woman, I have kids, I was married, and I could be saying the same shit. Like, I wish I had a man out here paying my bills, and I get up and go to work every day, like, so everyone's situation is different. I just believe as long as people are happy and healthy mentally, that's more important than anything. It doesn't matter if you're straight, gay, whatever it is. It's mentally how healthy you are that takes a toll on all of us.
Yeah, I believe that communication is the key at the end of the day. If you already know right off the bat that you don't want to deal with a woman with children, then you should let them know that right off the bat. Don't try to play around just because you're trying to win or you're trying to get the coochie or whatever, regardless of your sexual orientation. Be straight up honest and be straight up real about the situation. That way it'll cut off a lot of confusion. There are plenty of other single men and women out there who don't have kids that you can go out there and you can just deal with them versus getting into these single mothers or even single fathers in that matter and trying to get into these said type of relationships, then have this weird unrealistic expectation, then it end up becoming toxic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, 100%. And then like he was saying something. I just lost my whole train of thought. Hold on, I had such a good point with what he was gonna say. It will come back to me.
Urban was dropping that knowledge. Can I ask a question real quick?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. You wanted to jump in there real quick.
Yeah, so also too, like I just think that also, like it getting in these relationships isn't the problem too and stuff. It's just like I said, someone's mental. Now if you decide to be in a relationship and you choose someone that has kids,
It's breaking up.
it doesn't mean that the child's father is now against you. However, obviously any new relationship, a lot of times there's tension, but a lot of the times, I think that a lot of the fathers are disrespected by the studs, kind of challenging them and trying to take that role.
The connection
And that
is
also
breaking up.
creates a lot of problems, and I'm sorry, but like I think at the end of the day, of course, like a man has his kids and he's gonna fight for his kids, but there's only so much that anyone wants to fight for you, and sometimes you're already fighting with your baby mom. Now you're fighting with your baby mom and you're fighting with her girlfriend, boyfriend, father, mother of your child. It's like, and then women wonder why they lose these relationships and why things are harder, and now why your child is growing up without his father around, and you kind of killed those ties.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that situation now. My baby mom, she's dating a stud, and she's like, they confuse the shit out of my kids, and they try to turn the kids on you too. They try to brainwash them.
Hey, I was in that situation too when I went through my divorce. My ex-wife, she ended up dating this old fuck shit dude. You know what I'm saying? Where he felt that he was going to take on my role as being a father, which I've been a father to my children throughout my whole entire life. I watched them being born and everything. And so this dude, he honestly believed that he could just assume my role. But the weird part about it was that she was allowing that behavior. She was allowing him to step over boundaries and stuff where it started creating confusion, like where, you saying and where Crystal's saying, them kids, they looking at this right and they're processing this and they're trying to figure out like, what's going on with my mom and dad? Why are they behaving this way? Why my mom's sitting up here being romantic toward another woman? I never seen that before. Why is my dad sitting up here fighting another dude? That's unnatural to us. And so they ultimately end up growing up into that environment, and guess what? It'd be a repetition where they grow up, they're gonna be doing the same as that thing, without any type of guidance. And that's where the problem is at.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I think, like you said, communication is key. I have 4 kids. I was with my kid's father for 16 years. And now my kids range from the age of 10 to my oldest is 20. And I make it clear when I date, I'm not looking, however it sounds, I'm not looking for a stepdad. My kids have a dad. My kid's dad takes care of them. I'm looking for a partner. I'm looking for a good example to my children. I'm looking for someone that's going to complement us. I'm not looking for a step parent. That, to me, that's a role that's just, if it goes there, it goes there. But that's a title that's earned, not given. You know what I mean? Like, just because we're together, that's your stepdaddy, your stepmom. No, the hell you ain't. Like, first of all, it starts with how you going to treat me, and then how you going to treat the kids, because that's really, and like you said, it starts with the women or whoever, and setting those expectations, because I've made that very clear in anyone that I date. If I allow you to come around my kids, that's by choice. And just understand that, we're just all here just trying to grow, trying to get to know each other, and whatever happens later, but I don't need you to be there for them. And no one is ever going to take the role of their father, because he is an active father that has always been there, regardless. And I went through a very rough marriage where I could say a whole lot about him, but one thing I cannot say is the type of father that he is, you know. And I'm sure and me personally, I don't usually date men with kids, just because I choose not to deal with a lot of the drama and the things that come behind it, just knowing. But you know, like I said, whoever I'm with, they need to understand, you know, like, you're with me and you're with us. And but that whole, like, you're gonna come in our life and you're the stepdaddy and start this and that and demanding this and that, yeah, no, got all of us a little messed up.
Hey, do y'all agree with the package deal, or do y'all know what the package deal is?
Go ahead, explain that, the package deal. I think I
So
have an
so
idea.
yeah. So the package deal is this: not only you get me, but you also get my children as well too. That's what the wrong package deal is. A lot of people have been taught that you should enforce the package deal. They make the package deal a requirement. Okay,
No,
that you got to understand me and my kids. It's either me and my kids or me not at all. And so this goes back to what Crystal was saying earlier, and I admire her maturity on this. She was simply saying that she's saying like, "Hey, my children already have a foundation. It's me and their father. You don't have to play that role." You know what I'm saying? But according to the package deal, it's a requirement that you got to want to play that role. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the confusion is happening. Now, if that dude decide to do certain things for the children because he care about the children, then there's nothing wrong with that. But you should not make that be expectation that he got to do that. If he got to do that, if he don't do that, then in other words, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. And that's what a lot of women be doing right now, regardless of the sexual orientation. All of them think the same exact way.
I do think in a way. Now, again, it depends what you're dating for. It depends, are you dating for marriage? Are you dating because you need a father or mother for your kids? What is your purpose of dating, right? My purpose of dating is very genuine. I just want somebody that we can, you know, we actually can get along, grow with, stuff like that. Now, if we decide to now take this dating into a relationship, my kids are we are a package once we get there, because now you are committing to our future and we don't really have time to play with each other. Now, in the sense, when school comes, do I need you to go and buy the stuff for my kids and stuff like that? No. 100%. But if we live in the house, or if we're together, and if we're eating weekly, or if we go out to eat, I don't expect you to leave my child out. I also don't expect to take all my kids out to dinner on your budget and stuff like that. You know, I think like I said, there's a lot of maturity that has to come into place. I'm 40 years old, so you know, a lot of this has been just learning through life. Some women, they're looking for a provider, so they don't really have a choice, you know what I mean? They don't have a choice to date for what they're looking for. They're dating for what they have to, you know, look for. So like I said, I am a package once it gets there. Once you decide I am the person for you, then 100%, because it is not just me, and my kids are never going to be left out. I'm always going to have an open door that my kids can stop by anytime they want. You know, it's never just going to be like 100% us in this little bubble where my kids are just not around, because I have them. So yeah, you do have to accept them, and we do have to, you know, find a common ground. But you know, like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean everyone has, you know, everyone should, you know, that's why communication is so big. But you know, nowadays too, there a lot of people just are not so honest. A lot of men will date women that have kids just because they're looking for whatever they're looking for, and in the meantime, you're building bonds and you're building things, and sometimes a man knows he never really wanted anything long term, and that female may not think that, so she may be bringing around the kid and everything's going great, and you know, it's just so much different shit that can happen, but that's why people just need to communicate. And honestly, like I say, if you're just not ready to date, or if you don't know what you're dating for, just stay single and just, you know, just have friends. Find whatever, you know, you need from your friends and just stay single, especially when you have kids, because the kids are affected by everything that we do, whether they see it or not. It doesn't matter. Our kids will take our phone to, hey mom, can I go download something? And they're looking through our pictures, our text messages. Our kids know everything. And I remember doing it to my parents, you know. I knew everything that was going on, and they didn't even think that we knew what was going on. So, you know, you just got to be able to communicate.
Hey, Crystal. So
Urban, let me answer your question. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to answer your question. I think you could date somebody, like if y'all have kids, but what I think people need to stop is, I don't think you should move anybody into your house until your kids leave the home, whether it's, you know, a man or a female. So like if I was a single father and I had a kid, I would date people, but I wouldn't let them move into the house until I got a son. So I wouldn't let him move in until my son got 18 and, you know, hit that age that way. Because I think it's just introducing too many dynamics in the house where, you know, like I like what Crystal was saying. It's like if you got a guy that comes in, he's looking to be the authority figure. Then they already got a dad. So, you know, you're introducing two different layers into that household. So I think that's where the separation needs to stop. But that's just my opinion.
But hold on, yo, Jerk. Hold on. A lot of times when dudes, even a female or male that's playing the dominant male role of, you know, giving provision, they will usually have full responsibility and no authority at the crib at all. So that's why I kind of recommend dudes to, I mean, not to play cleanup, because it's not beneficial to them. I mean, in that sense, you know.
And there's a lot of bitter baby moms that try to push the father out the kid's life and try to let whoever they with now, their significant other, take over.
Yeah, hence my situation with that fuck shit nigga that she had at one point in time, where she literally tried to push me out the picture and make this dude be the primary custodial parent. And I'm looking like, you ain't me, bro. You ain't me at all.
Same thing I'm going through. Same exact thing.
But can I ask a question real quick? Oh, go ahead, Urban. I cut you off last time.
No, go ahead.
No, I cut you off. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I was going to kind of give Crystal just a little bit of pushback, because she mentioned earlier that they don't have a choice. So I just want her to kind of expand a little bit more on her process about, you know, when women don't have a choice in these certain type of relationship and they got to settle for certain type of relationships.
What do you mean they don't have a choice?
Well, you saying earlier, where you give your response back, you mentioned within the relationship dynamics, right, that due to their situation or due to their environment, that they really don't have a choice in that matter, so they have to settle to date these certain type of archetype of people. So I'm just trying to pull it out of you a little bit to see exactly what were you talking about.
I don't know. Maybe something was misinterpreted. I mean, because everyone has a choice who they could date. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think because as they get women get older, when women get older, their options they get low on options. So I think they're forced into dating certain type of people for help.
Could be, but also, you know, could be different things too. Me as a woman, I definitely could have saw myself after my marriage going into a lesbian relationship, not because of, you know, looking for a provider or anything like that, but more so because of safety reasons, and just you feeling, I guess, a little more comfortable, because with me, after dealing with, you know, certain things, I just have problems dating because of trust issues and just, you know, things like that. So like I said, everyone is different. I personally, some of my friends, I think, have just had such bad experiences with men that they literally are just looking for something new. A lot of women know that, you know, we're softer, we're dreamy, we like romance, and it's like, you know, we have that kind of thought of like, we know how to please each other because we know what we like. So it's just, you know, but that's where you know, people are different. Some people are You know, I don't know. You know, if you some of these lesbian women that go and they're gay and then they have a kid all of a sudden and then they're going back to this and that. Like, to me, I don't know, because that's just some sort of state of confusion. Unless I understand maybe wanting to have a kid and stuff, but at the same time, even with that, there's ways to do things. Because if you are going and producing a child with the man, you know, there still should be some sort of communication if that man would like to play a role in that child's life, even if he's not with the mother because the mom's gay or whatever the case is. You know, like, that child still kind of has a right to know who made him. But you know, every woman is different. Every woman dates with you know, turns for their own reasons.
I think a lot of them chicks too be broke. So I think that makes them move out of desperation sometimes, where they just got latch on to whoever could kind of fill that financial void. So I think that happens a lot.
Well, I want to say, because they're broke, it's just a natural thing on how they would prefer a female to play the masculine role. That's the stud to, you know, to pay all the bills. Know what I mean, not because they're broke, but it's a natural thing that they would do something like that. And I want to give Crystal some pushback. It's not based on confusion. It's based on, like, a lot of these studs, they're kind of like fed up the fellas self-nation revert back to dating men. Know what I mean? Because a lot of these studs, man, you know, they kind of like fed up dealing with dating women, and now they're starting to date men again. Know what I mean? Like,
they feel unappreciated. They feel unappreciated.
Like yeah, they don't feel appreciated.
Yeah, they don't feel appreciated. They see what we got to go through. There's no benefits in it. You doing everything, you get nothing in return. That's why.
Yeah, they call that the factory reset theory, to where women they'll date other women, right, and they learn that they really are the ones who are fucked up, and so they learn the errors of their ways, and now they're reverting back to their original factory reset.
They see what it's like firsthand dating women. That's why. And they're like, this is what y'all got to go through. I ain't signing up for this.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't trip about when women be dating other women or they become studs or whatever the case may be, because I know at the end of the day they're going to learn the things that men go through on an everyday basis and realize that the stuff that we're saying was correct all along. Like, case in point with Priscilla the Queenmaker, she spent almost nearly about 3 years talking down on men and encouraging women to, you know, use men a certain way until she ended up getting into a relationship with a woman. When she got into that relationship with that woman, she had got her, as we call it, a red pill awakening. Yeah. And so now she's preaching the opposite.
Yeah, she done came out with a perm and everything. She dolled it up.
I call those relationship crash dummy relationship, because it's bound to fail. You see the statistics when lesbian couples get married, it's like what, 75% divorce, something like that, 72%.
Yeah, it's high.
Most of them fail.
It's not a divorce. It's based, like, their percentage of having a domestic physical altercation is a high percentage. Yeah, but as far as like divorce rate, yeah, like they don't, like, I don't really know about that.
I think it's the highest divorce rate too.
Read on the stats before. Yeah, that's just heterosexual, but we're talking about you know, stepdads. I don't know the stats for that, but I do know whenever like lesbian couples are together, there is a high percentage of them get into like a physical altercation. So yeah, I mean, and like, and here's the thing, man. Like, do y'all think, like, you know, the same sex couples as the stud and the femme or whatever, do you think that affects the child's psyche to some extent?
It has to. It's abnormal. It has to. In some way, it has to. It has to affect their mental.
I believe so too. Kids, I'm a strong believer kids are a product of their environment. Just because you're forced into something doesn't mean that that it's okay. Kids go to school. It's you go to school, you have friends, you have people around you. At the end of the day, we are taught, and I really don't care what they say now, but we know what it is, and that there's two genders. There's a male and a woman, and we have always grown up, being taught that there's a man and a woman in the house. Now, if you are able to communicate with your child to have them understand, that your home is a little different, that is okay. However, I don't think there is anyone in the world that's going to tell me that your kid at some point hasn't been uncomfortable, felt uncomfortable, asked questions why or anything to that situation. They can say, oh, I feel loved and I got 2 moms and this and that. I don't care. At the same time, that's still to me, certain things are kind of like, it's almost like mental abuse. I'm sorry. Kids, I just feel like they're forced into situations, and you can deal with it. You can grow up having a great life and be happy and different things. But that's why mental abuse is real. Mental health. So many people grow up fucked up, and it's because of things like this.
I do.
Yeah, and it's getting worse because they're trying to push all these genders on kids.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, like, teaching kids, oh, you can, if you feel like a woman, you're a woman, but you're born a male. Get the fuck out of here. No, I'm sorry. You ain't, I don't care how you feel. You're still a male. You're a male. If you want to come across as a woman, if you feel like a woman, okay. But to convince someone I think I'm a male and I'm gonna say I'm a male now, guys. Like, no, that's a mental fucking problem.
Yeah, they're trying to normalize the abnormal.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I do think it's impacting the kids, man. Because I think if you just think about it, man, they had their mom and dad at first, and then if the person goes to the opposite gender, that would be confusing for those kids, like Crystal was saying. And then, they still got their dad dynamic. And then if people are, trying to drive that wedge between the father and them, they got to deal with another dynamic with that. Then going to school, they're going to kind of get picked on because, that's not the norm. So it's a lot of stuff for kids, man, to be dealing with this. And then, they're trying to figure all this shit out. So, yeah, I can see how it can.
It's like the kid
like
in the class.
Oh, go ahead.
It's like the kid in the class that doesn't have a lot of money. You gonna tell me that kid doesn't fucking know that comparing to everyone else, that he probably doesn't feel like or know that, damn, I'm kind of the poor one or something. It's kind of the same thing in a way. Like, you may go to school, you may be happy, you may have clothes on, you may have shoes on and everything else, but that doesn't mean that you're not sitting in class kind of like thinking about different things, worried about different things. Kids, I kind of like, when my kids were little, I'm the type of mom that, like, I really believe, like, even though children are children, they have stress. They're no different than us, and all those problems that we have, they do too. And whether it's just going to school and, you're wanting to have a cool backpack that matches the other kids, whatever it is, everyone has their own problems, their own stress and stuff. And a child having 2 fathers, 2 mothers, or 2 moms and one that looks like a dad, they're somehow they're questioning things a lot.
So I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of pushback on this side. So if we're talking about being in a relationship where it started off with a mom and a dad, then I could agree with y'all on that, 100% on that. But however, let's say in a different scenario that the relationship already started off with the same sex. Now, would that affect their environment? I'm gonna say no. The reason why is because that's between them two parents. You know what I'm saying? Let's say in the same scenario, they are in a 2-parent household. They in a phenomenal relationship, right? It's not toxic or anything like that. They're displaying, you know, love towards each other, and the children are picking up on that language, right? Guess what? That child is going to look at that as though there's nothing wrong with it. But however, when it becomes a problem, it's when that child enters into social norms, meaning that the moment when he or she start having friends, when they start going to school, when they start going out into the world, then the world's going to say something different. Like you have their friend have a mother or father in their home. Their friend going to end up challenging and say, well, I got a mom and a daddy in my household, and you got 2 moms or 2 dads? That's weird. That's when it becomes an issue. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, as long as them parents are sheltering them, they sheltering them and stuff, right? Showing them love, and they're showing love towards each other. There, I don't even see that it could be a issue. I want y'all to consider this too. Now I'll be done. Just like with people who are Quakers or Mormons or, you know, different things like that, they have the same exact experience with their children and stuff, right? Where they shelter their children, they show them this type of environment and show that this environment is positive. They literally grow up into this same said environment without it affecting them in a negative way until they start, you know, being part of the world or part of social norms. And that's when they start questioning that.
It doesn't necessarily, I don't feel like it necessarily makes it right just because you grow up feeling loved, but you're still secluded from the real world. To me, it's almost like just living a lie, because at the end of the day, that child that has all that love in home in the home and stuff like that, that's cool up until a certain point. But reality is we all are going to most likely hit the word real world. And as times go, with how social media is and everything else, it's like you're only really causing more of a damaging effect by hiding the truth.
Yeah, unless you isolate them, unless you Amish or something, you isolate them from the rest of the world. But other than that, I don't think there's no escape. I don't think there's no escaping it.
Yeah. Also, let's consider this too. We can even take it on the level of religion too. You know what I'm saying? Depending on your religious worldview, we do the same as that thing where we those of us who have children, right? We do the same as that thing where we teach them about ideology, about who God is in their life. We start teaching them about their said religion and stuff, right? Then the moment when they leave out of the household and enter into, you know, going to school or into that type of social norm environment, that's when they start realizing that there's levels to this. But guess what? It shouldn't shock them, because the parents should already be teaching them and educating them about the truth. And this goes to what you said, Crystal and Rob, about this, where you shouldn't be sheltering them. You shouldn't be keeping them away from all that. You should be educating them. You should be teaching them, like, hey, even though we are this way, there are others who are not like us. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay. You're going to be dealing with others that's going to be different from us, but it's okay. We're going to teach you how to, you know, navigate through there, where you could learn to respect them, even if they don't respect you.
Yeah. I think we're all influenced by life in some way, though. All of us, we're all influenced by life.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of times you don't miss what you don't have or what you don't know. But it's like someone growing up in the hood or the projects, right? You may be comfortable, that may be what you know and stuff, but let's say you step into a different country or you step outside and you actually see what's out there and how much more that there is to grow and to go after. And now you kind of feel like, damn, I've been almost living, not a lie, but damn, I've been stuck in this little bubble my whole life and look what's out there. It's almost like not being fair or, you know, giving that person a fair chance.
I call
life, you know?
I call that living life. You know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of things out there that we're not aware of. And let's be honest, all of us have a sort of type of bubble that we live in. Some of our bubbles are a little bit bigger than others, you know what I'm saying? But in reality, it's out there and it exists. But once again, that's life, you know. Just like you mentioned about stepping out into other countries. I have traveled international. I don't know if anyone on the panel traveled international too, but when you see things that are different from America, you're gonna be like, wow, this is different. But the thing about it is that it's gonna do one of two things. It's either gonna shape your worldview in a negative way, or it's gonna shape your worldview in a positive way to where you want to learn more about it. Hence, going back to the same sex relationships and stuff, right? It's gonna do one or two things. It's either gonna affect you in a positive way or the negative way. But
your environment
teach you.
Yeah, your environment makes it shapes you in a way, and your surroundings, but it's on you. It's like mind elevation. You got to expand your mind, and and think outside of the box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I don't think that I don't think it always has a negative effect. No, but I do think it has some sort of effect on a child. I think that love wins no matter what. So if a child is raised on love, even no matter what situation it is, that child can thrive. But it's more so it's just more so. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. 1 second.
Yeah, I think when people go to school, I think that would be the biggest impact. But I think once you kind of get out of school, you graduate from that, you can move to like cities and it's more acceptable. So I think it's that school where kids have to interact with other kids at that point that will be the rough patch. But once they get out, man, they will be straight.
And the peer pressure.
Yeah.
The peer pressure when they're younger.
So also even at school, right? We all been through this before when we was in school, right? We have all these social bubbles there. You have the jocks, you have the cheerleaders, you have the nerds, you have the emo people. During my time, we had gay people, straight people, all type of people in different category groups. One person sat on this side, this person sat on the other side of the cafeteria, and we just all coexist together into this whole huge thing known as school. But just like what Sophisticated was saying, even though it was present, at the end of the day, it's going to be based on your choice. And when you get out of that, and you start maturing even more, then that's when your worldview, your mind start opening up to other things.
I agree with you on that, Urban. And like how Sophisticated Jerk mentioned that when going to school, like college and all that, like it's more of a acceptance within that social construct within the college, because the colleges teach the youth about like feminism and all that, and exploring your sexuality with different levels of dealing with the same sex and all that. So that's more accepted within that arena over there. I mean, but if you're from a small town and you grew up like a conservative city, small town type joint, then it's most likely that it'll be like frowned upon.
More traditional.
I mean, moving in that kind
maybe
of
more traditional,
direction. And man, like hey, some people may not be cool with they baby moms dealing with a stud because of their religious background. You know what I mean? Like when you was dealing with your situation with your BM and all that, right? Like, how did you even process the thought? Like, how do you even process the information that your BM is going to be dealing with a stud and your kids is around that? Like, personally, my personal opinion, like, it'd be hard for me to adjust to do something like that. So, how did you handle that situation?
Well, I'm not with her. I can't control her life and who she dates, whatever. So, but I know it's going to confuse them and whatever. But I talked to her. I told her just don't let her influence them. We're the parents, whatever. So what we say goes, whatever. But the thing is with her, she's a bitter baby mom. So she's not trying to hear that. She's trying to, she's trying to get back or whatever her motive is, whatever. But I knew it would confuse my kids and be probably bad on them. But I can't control what she do with her life and who she dates or whatever. I just wanted to keep it cordial. We the parents. She shouldn't have no input on over me or anything, and that's about it.
Communication is just everything. Like my kids, like from the time they were little, I've never hid anything about like gay people or who or how people are. So like literally my kids grew up calling my sister, they call her Titi Tio. That means aunt and uncle, like in Spanish. But they know that she's a woman. I've sat there, and obviously before they're, when they're too young to understand, it's just, oh, it was more this is Titi, like this is your aunt, and it was introduced who she is. But then as they kind of got older, it was like, this is Titi Theo, like this is your aunt that likes to dress like a boy, she does date women. And they kind of just put it together. They would see me with their dad or normal, regular relationships, and then they would see my sister with hers. But I've always kind of kept it open. I never hid it, lied. I would just, kind of presented it for what it was. So my kids have never been confused or anything. They accept it. It is what it is. But again, it's all how you communicate. Now, I don't think just because like a stud comes in someone's life, it doesn't mean that it has to be a negative impact. There are some really great studs that come, and they're very in touch with who they are, and they just step up to the plate because that's just what they do as a good person, and that's okay. And I think, like I said, it all depends on the child's mother. She's the one that's going to set the tone. That child's mother needs to be the one that's mature enough and, tell the child, once you're past 3, 4, 5 years old, there's certain ways, and we don't have to break it down to but there's ways that we can communicate, even if we have to break it down to a child form to help them understand, to kind of like prevent a lot of that confusion. And it's very possible because I've done it with my kids many times. It's just, I think people just try to almost like force acceptance instead of discussing it. And basically a lot of parents are just like, hey, I'm the parent and this is what it is. I don't owe you an explanation. And that's where the confusion comes in. Because, like for you, for instance, if your baby mom is with a stud, but this stud comes around and she's like, encourages your baby mom, to have a good relationship with you, and that she's not trying to step on toes, she's just there as your baby mom's girlfriend, and though she has kids and she's just doing what she does, there's nothing wrong with that. But again, now it's on the kid's mom or your ex to communicate that with the kids of, hey, there's been a change. Just like me, when and it has nothing to do with studs, because it could be a normal, like in my house, it was me and my husband, and I had to explain to my kids, there may not be a stud around, but there may be another man, another woman around, and it's really it's not fully different. The kids just want to understand what's going on more than anything. That's the real confusion a lot of times, of like, what's going on, how come you guys aren't together, how come, like, it's a lot of like anger involved instead of just like, hey, look, it didn't work, mommy's with this person, it doesn't matter if it's a girl or a guy, this is a good person, they're going to be good to you, they're good to me, and this and that. It's just a lot of emotions evolved in different things because there's so much tension a lot of the times between the mother and the father.
Yeah, it could be a man or a woman, but in my situation, it was just that my baby mother already had motives. So she had a stud that was kind of a bad influence on her, and she was trying to like encourage her to push me out the kid's life so she can play the father role.
In situations like that, to me, that just kind of sucks, because it's like you're at a lose-lose, because no matter what you do, that's just who she is as a woman, and for her to be able to be influenced by another woman, that's that's on her.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Is that she intentionally is dating this stud because she want to hurt you. It was the same situation with my ex-wife. She intentionally dated this weird dude opposite of me because she wanted to hurt me. But in reality, she was doing way more damage to the children than she was to me, because after when our divorce finalized and everything's all said and done, I couldn't care less about her, period. All I care about is just me being a father to our children and me trying to co-parent with our children. That's it. I didn't have no feelings for her anymore, anything like that, but it hurted her a lot because I transitioned that way and she expected me to stay in this area. And I believe that it's the same situation with Ratu, where she purposely dated someone knowing good and well that it goes against his worldview about, 2-parent household, a mother and a father and stuff. And she did that intentionally just to hurt this dude. And all I can say is this: normally when women do things like that, it's only short term and stuff until they feel like that they want to get over it. They want to move past it and stuff. But what you can do as a man is that you have two choices. The first choice is that you can want to react to it the way she wants you to react to it. And I guarantee you at the end of the day, it's going to make you extremely miserable with stuff, right? Where you're going to start resenting her, then slowly but steady, you're going to start resenting your children as well too. Or you could look at it from a more emotional intelligent approach, where you see the game for what it is and stuff, right? And give her a choice. Look, I'm here. I'm the children's father. You choose if you want me to be in their life or not. I'm gonna let you choose, and I'm gonna chill. Now, if she chooses to keep pushing back on that, let her. Because guess what's going to happen? Them children are going to eventually start growing up, and they're going to start getting up into age. And guess what they're going to say? Where's my daddy at? They ain't going to ask for that damn stud. They're going to say, where's my daddy? They're going to start looking for their father for real. And she's going to have to deal with that. She's going to have to deal with them crying every day, getting miserable every day, making her mad and uncomfortable. She's going to have to deal with them children cussing out that stud, because they're not going to see that stud woman as the parent. They're going to start becoming disrespectful, and they're going to try to figure it out. Hell, they might even go to one therapy trying to figure it out. Then the therapist going to tell, like, well, where's these kids' daddy at? They need to be with their father. Where is he at? Eventually, their light bulb is going to click on, bro. I'm telling you, I've been through it. That light bulb is going to click on. She's going to eventually start learning the errors her way, and she's going to get into a little reset mode, and that's when she's going to start doing what she need to do for the sake of y'all children.
Yep, I agree. That's what I told her too. And it's selfish because it only affects the kids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they'll learn, like, as they grow, like you said, as they grow and they get, of the age and they start thinking for themselves and everything, they're probably going to learn to resent her for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a video I saw the other day on Instagram when a mother kept her son away from the father for 20 years, and then he grew up and found out that she was the problem. That he wanted to be a father, he wanted to be in his child's life, but she pushed him away.
I know exactly what video you're talking about.
Figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, what makes it so severe, right? Like, the father that he's talking about, the individual that he's famous talking about, like, when he went to go visit his father said, I think like stamp receipts on the many times he's been trying to send a mail to try to get in contact with his
for 20 years.
25 years of proof of document that he's been trying to get in contact with his son, and that just blew his son's mind. Like, when he found out his mom's did that, you know what I mean? And the crazy part is, right, when his mom called him up, right, and his mom was like, yo, where you at? Whoa. He was like, yo, I'm with my pops. So she started spazzing, you know what I mean, yelling at the kid because he went to go visit or went to go meet his biological father, you know what I mean? Which I thought that was crazy, man. The deception is real, man. You know what I mean? Like, and I ain't saying all women, but yo, there's a good portion of females that deliberately stop their kids from seeing their father, man. And I think they need to come up with a law that stops that. Well, I actually in the state of in Kentucky, and I want to ask y'all this question, right? In the state of Kentucky, right, there is a new law, a new 50-50 custody law that's implemented within Kentucky, and you know, pretty much when they put this law into place, the divorce rate dropped by 25%. And I want to get y'all perspective on that. Talk to me.
I think there needs more fair laws for men and women. So I agree with that. I think that if there's more consequences for divorcing the parent, you got to pay it.
Yeah, I think the law is good, man, because I think it forces people to work with each other. So, you know, it kind of removes that control mechanism. Because I got a friend, man, he's going through a situation like this where, man, you talk about, he's just a good dad, man, always taking the kids and stuff. He's on that extreme where I'm like, yo, man, you got to let that kid play by himself. You're doing a little too much. But after when he got his divorce and she got bitter with the situation, you know, she wanted to kind of move out the area. You know, whenever he has his visitation, she plays around with the visitation. So, yeah, no, I think 50-50, that's what every state should adopt. They should be like, look, y'all make it work unless somebody goes out of tolerance. Say, like, if somebody wants to move out of state, then, yeah, then you got to give the person custody. But if y'all live in the same general area, work it out. You know what I'm saying? Make it about the kids.
So I'm actually going to do a show talking about this probably tomorrow or Tuesday. So we're referring to good old House Bill 528 in Kentucky. So the whole bill is called a presumptuous custody. All right, meaning that the moment when you want to be divorced, right, it don't automatically default to the what's in the best interest for the children, like how they do in other states. Preferably, like in my state, I'm in Texas right now, and they go with this every single time. With this what's in the best interest for the children, which it normally default to the mom every single time, no matter what. But the only exception to the rule is when it's dealing with either domestic violence or it has to be something mentally wrong with that woman for them to make it be 50-50 or 100 or whatever case may be, you know. So back in 2018, the state of Kentucky ended up doing this bill and stuff, right? And so from 2018 all the way up to right now at this point, they had ran the stats. They ran a census stat on this, right? And so the stats came up where it was saying that 25% of divorces decreased due to this bill. And the reason why is because these women, they start realizing that, hey, I'm not going to get nothing out of being divorced. I'm not going to want to, get community property out of it, nor I'm not going to be able to leverage these children to get child support or anything out of it anymore. So guess what they decide to do? They decide to stay in these relationships, start working out these relationships. Now, keep in mind, this is only if the relationship isn't toxic. It's not abusive or anything like that. They decide to stay in these relationships and work it out, go through counseling and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the numbers is the way that it is right now. But however, there are feminist women who are pushing back on this bill. They only push back on that one reason, talking about, well, what about abusive relationship? What about that? What if they do being abusive to the kids and stuff like that? What about different things like that? I call bull crap on that.
They try to make the exception make the rule. That's why.
Exactly, absolutely. Because when you think about it, the numbers are really, really low dealing with an actual man who will be abusive to his children. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, because there are some fucked up dudes who be doing some things to their children and stuff, molestation and different things like that. Not discredit that, because I know it exists. But however, in the majority of the cases, right, it's not like that at all. It's very low.
Especially not enough to make a law around it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I'm with y'all on that. I believe that every state should adapt that, where it be automatically default to the 50-50 custody presumption, unless there are other things you could prove to the courts that they don't need to be that way.
Yeah, it should be more about benefiting the kids than a woman.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here's another thing too. Here's another thing too. I did research on it. And I was researching the Office of Attorney General in the state of Kentucky. They were saying that child support has went all the way down as well too. One or two things happen with that. The payments go all the way down to where it's like probably less like $200 or $300 a month, or due to the men spending their level of time with the children, it don't be an offset to zero where it ain't paying no child support at all. Period.
Yeah. So it's kind of proven though, looking at them stats, Urban, that it was like a money grab in a lot of these cases. That's what the data is kind of showing.
But
Yeah,
then
yeah,
it's kind
it is
of
absolutely.
tricky. The whole thing is kind of tricky though, because 50-50, the child still needs to be provided for. And the problem, I think, what a lot of moms do have is, father can take the child and spend time with the child, but what about everything else financially?
Yeah. According to the bill, right, all of that isn't included with it, meaning that whenever the child is within your possession, you're responsible for that period. Them going to school, you clothing them, you feeding them, medical expenses,
That's
all that
not
stuff is
always the part
included.
that is so.
But yeah, that's
kind of
that's
what kind of gets tricky here.
yeah,
But I think they're gonna
that's what I'm
they're
saying.
gonna
Like
figure that out.
in other
Because
states, when
if
they
the mom is making money and the dad is not, and now, and the mom is the one that's kind of carrying most of the weight, or vice versa, it's like that 50-50. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, and you're doing what you have to do, but it doesn't really mean that you guys are kind of still on even
But I
playing
think
ground
that'll
for
all be
the
calculated though. I don't think that's
child,
gonna.
though.
I think
yeah,
that'll all be
yeah,
calculated in court though. I don't think they're just gonna just split it 50-50 if the one of the parents can't provide. I think it's gonna be calculated and see which
yeah,
parent does the most and stuff like that.
yeah, exactly. It have to be nuances behind that, and that goes back to the what's in the best interest for the child. You know what I'm saying? Like even in that situation, right? They calculate, certain expenses and different things like that to see if you can provide for that child. If you're in a situation where you absolutely cannot provide for that child, then you don't need to have custody over that child, period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what
You're
I'm
being an
saying.
irresponsible adult. And that goes for both men and women, because there's women out there who are irresponsible too, where they don't have money, or it be the man, vice versa.
Yeah, like I think actually Rush, I spoke about this last time we did one, but yeah, like I have 4 kids, and me and my ex, we were going through a divorce, and I work, he works. Two of my kids live with me, 2 live with him, and it's like the thing. I'm sorry, like my youngest one lives with me, my 3 older ones stay with him, but it's like the older ones will come here on the weekends, the little one goes there. We're literally like 50-50. When the kids are there, he does his, they do here, and I'm okay with that. Like when we went to court for our divorce, I was like, look, we're 50-50, but we're actually 50-50, and the kids are the ones that benefit from both sides, so if like I said, if the kids are the ones that are benefiting, great. And that's really just for everything, it's like we just need to protect the kids all around.
Can I say
Yeah,
something
so
real quick? We got to give Crystal some credit, because I mean, I think that's the big thing. You're rare, and I think the way that you're conducting yourself in that relationship, you're making it about the kids. Shout out to you for that, man. Definitely.
yeah,
I've had to learn a lot. Like I said, me and my ex, we went through like a terrible marriage. We met when we were 17. We were married by 21, and we had 3 kids by 23. And we were both really wild, like in the streets and different stuff. We went through a lot of stuff. But one thing is, we always kind of were able to like, have poker face for the kids. So whatever we were going through when it came to the kids, that was one thing. And my reasonings are a little different. I was with someone who was a little controlling with things, so it was like, I didn't want to have any control. I didn't want to answer to anyone. So I decided, hey, he used to pay me child support. I had my kids. I was the mom that was home taking care of the kids, the house, and this, and he was the provider and just sending the check. And it really wasn't fair to anyone at all. It wasn't fair to the kids. It wasn't fair to me. It wasn't fair to him. And I was like, you know what? Like at the end of the day, I don't need your money, because your money is like really only a portion of what it's doing. What I need is time. I need you to take the kids as much as I have the kids, so I can just go to work as much as you do, and we can just split whatever. I'll take care of my house, you take care of your house, but like I need the time, you know. So that's really like what it was and stuff. It was never like me getting child support, and I don't think that's what a lot of women realize. You can get child support and it can help you and stuff like that, but like if you're sitting here just living for like a check, you're really just hurting yourself. Like me cutting him off of like everything was the best thing that I ever did for myself, because it literally just pushed me, you know, to be better for my kids.
You handle it very mature and responsible.
You know, that's the only thing of the patriarchal relationship that I don't agree with. I don't agree with when men like that, they just put all the sole responsibility on the woman to take care of the child and take care of the household while he go out and work, you know, all day. I believe that is very unrealistic, especially in this modern day time, because we're dealing with a lot of things right now. We're dealing with mental health and all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And plus, that woman, she needs to have the freedom to be who she is. It's unrealistic for men like that to get women like that and tell her that she can't do this when she already had an identity before entering into that relationship, and now all of a sudden she can't do all these certain things, and you want her to do all these certain things while you do whatever. That's, to me, that's unrealistic. You know what I'm saying? And to be quite honest with you, that's what another reason what caused the divorce rate to be what it is too, because unfortunately these said type of women get tired of it. They want to be free. Hence, also, y'all could agree to this. You know what I'm saying? That's what created the feminism movement, to be honest, because these dudes end up here bruising women. They're bruising them physically, mentally, and spiritually as well, too.
I mean, yeah, I would agree to that to some degree. Yeah, the leftist feminist movement have put a big shift on how me, you, all of us on this panel, we're pretty much on the same age bracket. So, yeah, like, it definitely put a shift on how we grew up in a traditional household. Like, things now is different, you know, like, you know, binary thing, and, you know, step studs and, you know, transformers and all that. So it's definitely a different ball game now than when it was in the early 90s. You know what I mean? Even though it was there, but it was not as prevalent as it is right now. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Things is different now. You know what I mean? And word is born. Like, yo, there is a big shift on, you know what I mean, into that. You know what I mean? And, yo, my next question for y'all is, right, with this custody battle, like with this new law or whatever, right? And this decrease of the divorce rate in Kentucky by 25%. If they implement this law in all 50 states, do you think this will be a game changer for like marriage? Like, do you think this will be a positive ripple effect? Talk to me.
I think so. You said the numbers already went down, right?
Yeah, about 25% in Kentucky. Yeah, the divorce rate.
I think it's going to expand if it goes worldwide, or, you know, around America. I think it's just going to expand.
Yeah, I think the numbers definitely going to improve, man, because I think before, say, like in Kentucky, they didn't have that 50-50, you know, law. People could kind of operate off of emotions. So it's like if they sitting there, they're, oh, I'm not happy because of this, they could just jump out there, you know, kind of get a cash out. You know, if that person's, you know, doing good financially, you know, they could just leave and there's really no consequence to that. But when you got to actually partner up with somebody and work and put the kids first, then I think that's where the people got to strategize a little bit. You got to think stuff out. You got to be like, you got to look at it totally different. You like, man, if I jump out here and I ain't got my stuff together and I ain't got that like golden parachute, you know, I gotta eat that. So I think it's making people kind of be more logical
and more
accountable. Jump out there. Yeah, sure.
Yep. Yeah. So it made people think about exit out this relationship due to no default divorces. You know what I'm saying? With no default divorces, it don't matter what it is. You could just say you bored and you could just get a divorce and the judge would grant it. So now it's gonna make them think twice about that by doing stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Where they got to make a choice. Just like I was saying, they got to make a choice. Either they're gonna either stay in it or they're gonna have to deal with the law behind it. Now, to be honest with you, I'm that type of person that I believe that, you know, we as Herman, we should be grown and competent adults where we can handle our own business without putting the state and allowing to our business affairs. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, we don't have a lot of people who are mature that way, so it does have to happen that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people's mental capacity is not that good.
Yeah, exactly. Then we out. Let's keep it real. We got to hold ourselves accountable too as well, because let's be honest, we do be making that choice to enter into these relationships with these incompetent people. Let's be honest with it. For whatever reason, maybe the woman looked good, man. She threw it back real good, and next thing you know, you want to have a relationship with, I don't know, or the dude have money, you know, and you fell in love because he was driving a Rolls Royce or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, we got to hold ourselves accountable on that too and take that L and learn from it.
We're responsible for everyone we be with. We're responsible for everyone we be with. It's on us to spot the red flags, and you know.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, Urban, I think, man, that's how people, man. I always tell them, I'm like, I get it that you want the relationship to last forever, but you gotta look at it like, man, if this thing break up, is this person gonna drive me crazy? Are they gonna do some crazy stuff? Both sides, both genders. So I think that's how people got to kind of look at it, because you making a business decision at that point. So yeah, you can't go in there like Famous was saying, ignoring red flags, because you're gonna deal with that person for like 18 years.
So I'm kind of curious, why the studs don't enter into a prenup?
Because they compete with the studs. Really compete with men. They want to do better than the man. Like, want to prove that they can do things better than the man could do.
Yeah, facts. Because I mean, if it's that serious with them and they are dealing with their right on, they can either have a prenup or do an NDA. Like, hey, before we get into this, let's sign the dotted line and be done with it, you know?
Yeah, I think that's part of the game where they could come at the female and be like, see, he didn't trust you. That's why, you know, he would want all that stuff. See, I don't require that. I got faith in you. I got trust. We got loyalty and all that. So it's kind of the sell. So,
and the biggest part about it, the biggest part about it, gentlemen, is that I'm a woman too, so I can understand how you feel.
Exactly.
So therefore I could treat you right. See, she laughing because she knows the truth.
That girl gonna be like, Russ ain't shit. Come on over here.
Hey, man, this ain't got nothing to do with me, man. Come on, man. But
girl,
man,
Russ over there listening to R&B. He don't like you like that. You could.
Hey man,
every time I'm come on with a soundtrack.
Man, I'm not into drill like that. I mean, but yeah, man, I think if this law is implemented in all 50 states, like, yo, it'll definitely be a game changer in the family court system, man. Like, this will kind of like even out the playing field in that you know, in that courtroom, man, because you know a lot of nasty work goes on in that courtroom, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a cheap thing. It's real expensive, you know. Having those serious, custody battles, man, them joints be lasting like forever. And, if your paper ain't long enough, man, you got to figure out a way how to pay these joints,
I feel like it's sad, though. It's sad that people can't come together and do things right for the kids. They so bitter in their feelings and emotional that they got to take it to court. But I think that's the only way, though.
Yeah, no, Famous got a good point, man, because when you think about it, and you too, Rush, when you're talking about, you look at the money people spend on lawyers, because like I said, my friend just went through it. I think, man, him and his ex-wife probably spent about like $15,000 just to pretty much, they came to like a 50-50 agreement right now.
That's
and
crazy.
I'm like, man, that kid, they could have put that in the kids, like,
man.
They could have literally put that money in the kids' college fund. You know what I'm saying? So, man, when you start looking at these expenses, it is wild,
it's
man.
Sad.
Yeah,
it's a waste of time.
So, but this is like just literally people that just can't get it together themselves, right? Because I make pretty good money. My children's father makes more than I do, and he makes great money. I went to court and was like, we're gonna go 50-50. I'm like, how do we not even submit our finances? Because that does not matter. Like, what matters is the time split. Like, we both have money to take care of them. We've been doing it for years, but like, what about the rest of this stuff, you know? And that like the whole time split is like they, I don't know, like the court is weird because like my lawyer was just like, you guys don't even need to submit your finances. If he didn't submit his, then I don't have to submit mine, and they just waive all of that, and it literally just goes to the like family planning part without finances.
Okay.
And a lot of people can skip that. Like, I didn't hire a lawyer. I mean, I have like somebody like, you know, doing like the all the little middle stuff, but I don't have a lawyer, and we have a lot. We've been together for years and stuff. We have kids and everything, but I guess a lot of people kind of don't know that if you can actually agree and be mature enough to co-parent and have a whole plan down, you can waive all of your finances and stuff like that, and it doesn't need to be so messy and back and forth. And it literally,
you know what, Crystal, you're really a anomaly. Most chicks,
yeah, they want it messy. They want it messy.
It's gonna be nasty work, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, Crystal
saying?
rare.
So
We might
it's
have to
like-
dip you in
No,
platinum,
like,
Crystal.
as much, trust me, I would love to actually go. He makes a lot more than I do. But like I said, I've just learned to pick and choose my battles. So I
Smart.
dealt with a lot of like a lot of violence and stuff like that. To me, my peace, there's no amount of money that like, you know, like my piece is just, there's no price on it. I don't even care to go through the course or anything like that. Like, to me, I'm just at a point, as long as I take care of myself, my kids are good, I'm good. I know I'm very different than like the most. But like I said, you know, a lot of it is also, we do things when we're young. We're not thinking about the future. We're not thinking about if this relationship doesn't work and what happens if, you know, we're literally just living in the moment. That's usually the problem. But
I ain't gonna lie.
I am glad though that like you know, like this generation and stuff, I was reading recently, like they're not having as much sex, and that like everyone is like, I guess with all the stuff going on and all these laws, it's like these, you know, these kids, they're scared to do stuff now.
Yeah. That's right.
Mhm. Hey, well, with my situation, it wasn't, you know, us fighting over the divorce. It was fighting over custody. All right. So in the beginning, I had paid a lawyer a retainer. I think it was almost like $2,000 retainer. That's the retainers do to represent me. This lawyer was full of shit, and I mean, like, I was convinced when I hired that lawyer, I was convinced that they are for the system, that they want you to lose. They'll want you to pay them so you can lose. And I was convinced that this dude was doing that for real. And so I made it up in my mind that, you know what, I'll waste this money. I'm firing you. I fired that lawyer, and I did the same exact thing what Crystal did, where I went pro se, represent myself. The thing about it is that when you're dealing with family law, that's civil, you know what I'm saying? So you could literally just go on the internet and pull together a whole case for your situation right then and there. And that's what I did. I just went to the internet, started searching family laws, and went to court.
Let me just like Urban, we gotta explain to them like, yo, there's a big difference between a lawyer and an attorney. See, the attorney is a dude that actually passed the bar exam, and he could represent you in person in court. But the lawyer, he ain't never passed the bar exam, so he got to holler at the attorney to finish doing the legwork. Know what I mean? So that's a big difference. So if you're going to hire somebody to represent you in court, it got to be an attorney, and your paper got to be long. But yo, keep going on, Urban.
Yeah. Facts. So yeah. Well, after when I did that, I represented myself. I learned about family law. Guess what? I went in there. All I had to do this just pay for them to draft out the paperwork and stuff. Right. That was it. to for the course. So that was it. I went in there and spent the $200. That was it. Went in there, told them exactly what I'm looking for, which in my state of Texas is called joint conservatory parenting. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that, you know, it's pretty much 50-50 where, you know, she's 50-50, I'm 50-50, but the only difference is when it's dealing with visitation, which I don't like. The visitation is the one, the first, the third, and I believe the 30th of the month over here in the state of Texas. And I hate that. I hate it with everything in me. But however, in the state of Kentucky, it's 50-50 period. You know what I'm saying? Where even the visitation is split through the whole entire month, where you're getting way more time with your children versus that you know, first, third, and the 30th of every month. Then you have to rotate holidays and birthdays and all this old weird stuff, you know.
Urban, did you get like favorable results when you went in there yourself?
Yeah.
Damn, that's good.
I did.
If two people can agree and communicate, then honestly, it's like they're not against you. They're, you know, they're willing to do it, but you have to be on the same page, you know. That's like us. I have my 3 older ones live with my ex, and my youngest one lives with me. But that's because they were going to high school. But on paper, we just put 50-50. So I just put 2 kids live with me, 2 live with him. You know, we rotate, whatever, however, and they didn't say anything. They're just like, okay, you know, what happens for back to school, this and that. Everything is 50-50. Taxes 50-50. He takes 2, I take 2. You know, and then okay, now my older 2 graduated. Now it's the younger 2. The same thing. You take a kid, I take a kid. You know, and that's just like how we do it. But honestly, you know, they don't want to go against you. They don't want problems. It's like they that's what they want. They want people to be mature and to be able to go in and be like, hey, listen, this is what it is. We're both going to do this.
I'm going to give you some
They don't want that, but the women do. That's the problem. They don't want that. It's the woman.
They don't want that in the court system. You got to understand, like, the child support game, that's like a multi-billion-dollar business, man.
Well, yeah, they want y'all on child support.
Yeah, so, there's an incentive for, you know, there's an incentive for the courts want y'all to not agree with y'all, for y'all not to co-parent in a positive manner, because the ripple effect of that is the man got to cough up the bread for the child support. So, you know, like, you know, the judge eats off that, the lawyers eat off that,
the government, yep.
They all eating off your mishap. I mean, and this is. Yo, man, they don't.
They take their portion before the woman even get it.
No, bro, because I asked this female attorney one time, and I was just like, why don't they just, like, if a guy's in a, you know, better position financially, say like he got a nice house, he's in a good school district, why don't they just give the custody to the guy? And she was like, to be honest, nobody would make no money if the guy like got custody, because he wouldn't go after like the child support for the females, because she was like, most of the time if a guy gets like custody, he'll like null and void anything, he'll work out visitation, so she was like, there's no money in that game. And I was like, damn, you serious about that?
Yeah, we just want our peace. That's it. We just want our peace and the kids. That's it. We don't care about trying to make your life miserable and all that stuff.
Yeah, because my boy, man, when he was like I said, we were looking at the cost. He shot them just an email. They were like, all right, we got to charge you for that. So it makes sense, man. It's a business. Like you said, Rush, it's a business at the end of the day. Because like if you got a lawyer working on your stuff, then he got to go get approval from the attorney. That's another line item on that invoice. So yeah, it's crooked out there. So I wish more people was like Crystal and them. Like, look, we need the time. Like, we both got to work. Let's work this out.
You know, there's like, you know, it all goes how much you make, but a woman with 1 kid, how much are you getting? A couple $100. I mean, I don't even know. I'm sorry, but like, you could come take this kid, come take the kid, let me have my time. That money is like, you know, when you start to change your mindset in different ways, like, it's not even a comparison. I'm sorry. Like, I was home for years just getting child support, thinking like, yeah, I'm getting child support. My baby daddy give me $1,200 a month. He was giving me more than everyone around me compared to my friends and stuff. My friends are like, girl, you so lucky. I wish my baby
you was balling out there, huh?
Yeah, you're balling on child support, right? So it kind of just kept me in that mentality of, okay, I'll be home with my kids, I can make whatever, and I got my child. But no, it's such like a ghetto mindset because literally that was like that's all I was like doing. As soon as I cut that and was like, you know what? I need my time more than I need this dollar. Like I need you, I need my mental. I need to be able to have time for whatever. If I just want to sit in a room by myself and not do anything, like okay. Or if I want to go and just work for 24 hours, like okay, you know. But I mean, to me personally, cutting it off and having my time, that was the best thing ever. Like I tripled my salary and everything by having that time. But it was also a huge shift in mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Y'all
yeah.
see
Once
Crystal kind
again,
of stunting on us right now, though. Talking about that. That's the third time you was like, man, I done triple my salary. Why you gotta make us feel bad, Crystal?
No,
I'm
I'm just saying,
just
like,
mess with you.
trust me, I ain't rich, I wish. But you know, like as a single mom who's gone through a divorce and who doesn't get any financial assistance and stuff, I've come a long way in the past like 7.5 years. And a lot of it has been having to change my mentality and just look at different things. Getting out of like that kind of ghetto, you know, mindset and just having a lot of us will have our friends around that are encouraging us for a lot of bullshit that is not helping us, it's actually hurting us.
Yeah.
So you know, like no, I'm when I say that I made money, it has nothing to do with actual dollar. It has to just do with freeing my mindset. That to me, your piece, you know, like it's not even a dollar. Like I'm rich in minds because of certain things that I've been able to free myself from.
Nah, I got you, Crystal. I was just messing with you. I'm out here broke, struggling. So you know, I'm hating. No, I'm
Me
playing.
too, me
Cut
too.
you off, Urban. I know you was about to say something.
Going on the budget.
yeah. Now, I was agreeing with Crystal, and I was actually going to ask Crystal this. What would you tell the other women out there who have the opposite mindset? If you were to like go and try to educate them or try to mentor them and show them like, hey, there's something different that you need to do in order for you to be successful as a woman. How would that look like to you? How would you educate them if they were to accept it?
I think a lot of us, and this is just speaking from experience, like I said, a lot of us, we get trapped in a mindset because of our surroundings. So whether it could be your mother that went through a similar situation and now she's telling you in your ear, go after that nigga for child support and blah 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 blah, or your friends around that are in a similar situation and just everyone's angry. But you know, it really just starts. I had to when I left my ex. I was in a really, really bad place. Like I suffer from depression. It literally is like crippling to the point that like I can't function sometimes because it's like I'm just in a mind fog. But you really, I believe people have to heal. That's the biggest thing. A lot of times we get in relationships too fast, we get out of relationships, and then we're moving on to the next thing. But it took a lot of actual healing. Me sitting by myself and like, you know, thinking, where am I going in life? What do I want? What do I want for my kids? Kind of just like taking myself out of being in my own shoes and looking from the outside. And most women really just need to just literally think about their future, even though they're living for now. Because a lot of us, you know, we're living at for now, we're living in the moment. We're doing what we have to for now because we're kind of stuck in like a struggle mindset, or we're just so worried about now. But we have to learn how to protect our mental and step back. And even though we're going to go through a struggle, regardless, we have to pick our struggle. And a lot of the times staying attached to child support, food stamps, unemployment, certain things, it's just like a chain. We have to be able to understand that there's more out there that we can go after and be able to give ourselves the life that we want. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a man. Me personally, my ex-husband was a great provider. So leaving him and going to myself was a major shift financially because I had everything that I wanted, but I still wasn't happy. Now, when I was by myself, I was in relationships and I was getting what I wanted that I didn't have, which was going out and more love and things like that, but the money was different. So it was like, okay, Crystal, how am I going to have both? Well, the only way really I'm going to do is if I give it to myself, and make myself who I want to be a better person for whoever I'm with. So a lot of women actually need to do a lot of soul searching, see the problems in their life, why those problems are in their life, going back to your childhood, things around you, and not being scared to cut out a lot of the toxic people and behaviors around. I don't care if it's your best friend, your mom, your father. A lot of us have a lot of people around us preventing and stumping our growth. So we really just need to do a lot of soul searching in order to grow and to be better.
Yep, yeah, I agree. And the reason why the gentlemen they keep saying it over and over again that you're an anomaly, that you were rare, is because a lot of women out there, they don't want to hold the mirror up to themselves. They don't want to hold themselves accountable. They always want to be the victim every single time, no matter what type of relationship it is, whether it's dealing with a man, whether it's dealing with another woman, a dog, cat, whatever case may be. They always be the other person's fault, and they don't want to hold themselves accountable so they can grow and mature and change and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we just admiring that from you, that you took that opportunity to go and do that soul searching for yourself. You want to see things from multiple perspectives, even though you have your own personal perspective that you believe in, or your own worldview that you believe in, and that's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you really hit it. A lot of us live in denial. A lot of us are scared to admit our wrongdoing, and that is something that I've just had to live with and come to grasp. But like I said, in my personal marriage, my kid's father was a great father. He a great provider. Now, some of the problems we were having, after a while, I had to look at it and say, okay, why did we have all these problems? If I'm a good person and he's a good person, why did we have these problems? I sure as hell wasn't always the greatest person. I caused a lot of issues for him to react how he did, and vice versa. But it also, and at the moment, if he was to hear me talk now, he'd probably be like, who the hell is she? Because in the moment, there's a lot of finger pointing and stuff like that. But at the time that when we finally did separate, and you are sitting a lot of those times that those days at your home crying in a pillow to yourself, you need to be real with yourself. And you need to, literally sit and break yourself down. And honestly, not be scared to let someone else break you down. Because I have some really good friends, or my sister, or whoever. I have people in my corner who are not scared to tell me when I'm fucking up, when I'm doing something. And even though I don't want to admit it, sometimes I have to be like, you know what? Yeah, like, damn, Crystal, you fucked up, like, you know what I mean? And that's okay, but we have to in order to grow. And it's also with maturity and mindset. A lot of us are not able to do that. But we all come from different homes, different scenarios, different situations, different families. But one thing that we all have is that we are all in control of ourselves. So if you want better, you can be better.
I totally agree. Shout out to Sophisticated Jerk with the $10 super sticker. I appreciate you, brother, man. Yo, thank you for coming through and showing us love on here. Yeah, man. Yo, we reached the 2-hour mark, so I'm about to kill this live. So let me get everybody's last words before we bounce.
It was a great conversation. Once again, thanks for having me on, Rush. You know where to find me, Famous Hip Hop, on YouTube, and The Real Famous on IG. Also got the Sucker Free shop out. You can get your merch, Sucker Free merch. But thanks for having me on. Nice meeting you, Crystal. Nice meeting you, Urban. Sophisticated Jerk. It's always real.
Word. And thank you so much for coming through, fam, man. Y'all make sure y'all go get that merch, man. Stay sucker free out there. You heard? Go ahead, Crystal.
I was gonna say, you guys follow me on Instagram, Post-Op Crystal. And everyone, ladies, men, whatever it is, whoever you decide to be with, however you decide to live your life, just live with purpose, live with purpose, not pride, but just live out here with purpose, just do good. Just be a good person, and that's it. It doesn't matter if you're gay, if you're straight, if you whatever, if you're a good person and you're just leaving your mark and you're genuine, you're gonna win and everyone's gonna win. That's it. Live with love. Follow me, Post-Op Crystal. Thank you for having me.
Thank you again so much for coming through. Urban, let me get your last words before we peel out, man. Talk to me.
Shout out to Rush. Me and Rush, we've been knowing each other in the YouTube streets for over like 2 years or longer, man. So shout out,
that, man. Way longer than that. But
yeah, way longer than that, man. But shout out to him for inviting me up to the platform. He been trying to get me up here for the longest, but I've been busy. My own channel is doing Urban Lounge Podcast. Y'all check it out on YouTube. I'm on other socials as well too, but I'm mainly on YouTube doing thought-provoking conversations. And I cover different topics dealing with like red pill topics. I talk about religion, whatever's going on in the world, I'll be talking about that as well too at the lounge. So Urban Lounge Podcast, make sure y'all go and check out my channel and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And so you can be a part of the thought-provoking conversation.
No problem. I'm gonna check that out. Yo, y'all need to check out that whole single too on YouTube.
Yeah. Check out his single too. It's on point like a scoreboard, man. Shit is crazy fire. It's your boy Rush getting ready to sign out. This show's officially over. Seek wisdom, practice humility, and those remain sucker free. I'm out. One.